let us start in probably about the only place that we can start this week, which is the unbearable weight of massive talent. Which wins one of the titles of the year. I mean, I think it's just kind of like one of those things that you hear the title and straight away you kind of go, all right, cool. What's that all about? The unbearable weight of massive talent. This is a film in which you have Nicolas Cage playing Nick Cage. So it's already so far so meta. The film kicks off, and what you see is you see a scene from the action movie Con Air starring Nicolas Cage, and then there's a lady watching it. I believe she's Spanish. She's watching it with her boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage is so cool." And then somebody bursts into her room, kidnaps her, and then you get to meet the real Nick Cage, who is meeting up with a director, and he's trying to convince the director to cast him in this film and everything like that. And you go into this whole idea of what Nick Cage's life is like, and it goes very meta because you have Nicolas Cage playing himself and addressing a lot of the criticisms that people give the real life Nicolas Cage. Like, he works too much. Why does he make so many straight to video movies? What's going on? Is he good or is he bad? Well, he's never going to be as good as he was in The Rock. All that kind of stuff. Okay. So for anybody, if you're watching the video of this, you will see that Shaun has been changing his background to things that link to the unbearable weight of massive talent. Now we just have a picture of Nicolas Cage in Face Off, and which plays a part in the film. So you have all these things that to begin with, it gets all meta and stuff where you talk about Nicolas Cage talking about himself, Nicolas Cage playing himself there, and then the plot kicks in when his agent says, "Look, you're being offered £1 million or $1 million to go to this guy's birthday party. This guy called Javi in Mallorca in Spain. He's like, go along to it because you need the money and there's no film offer right now." And he goes along to the meet Javi, who's played by Pedro Pascal, who is a massive Nicolas Cage fan, thinks he's the best thing ever, thinks that he's a life-changing actor, and like, oh my god, Nicolas Cage, oh my god, Nicolas Cage, and absolutely loves him. And then there's some FBI agent or CIA agents who show up, and there's some stuff that goes in, and then it gets a little bit sky capery and so on and so forth. So that's what the film's about. The main thing you're going to be showing up for is Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage. That is the main thing you're going to be showing up for, and then other stuff happens, plot and all that. Shaun, what did you think of this?
Yeah. It was well, for me, as I say, it started off absolutely. I was all more or less in hysterics. I was quite chuckling to myself. I thought it was, and like you were saying about who's the actor? He's the guy who plays a Mandalorian, and you did say
yeah, Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal.
That's right. He was so convincing, as he was almost like in love with him. There was almost like a homoerotic thing between them.
It's a total buddy romance buddy romance with a high emphasis on the romance.
Yeah, high emphasis. Yeah. It was like, and I thought it was like, I mean, it was almost believable. Like he was so enamored, so in love with Nick Cage, that Nick Cage was the greatest. And there's a few other people. Oh, Nick Cage. And that, there's like some subplots. There's like the CIA get involved and stuff, and but yeah, no, I really thought this was quite funny. I was chuckling quite a lot. A few people laughing, and as I say, yeah, as the film went on a little bit, it became a little bit, should we say, not a parody, but it sort of became.
It's a bit of a parody. It's a bit of a satire.
Of a parody, I suppose.
It's a bit of a satire, and the thing is, and as the film goes on, because you already have this meta idea of Nicolas Cage playing himself or playing a version of himself, because he has a wife who is not played by his real life. It's played by Sharon Horgan. He has a daughter, and then they have this whole thing where obviously his daughter doesn't like him, and then there's this sort of like redemption arc about whether Nick Cage is going to sort of like reclaim his family. And as the film goes on, as Shaun says, I feel like it gets a bit generic. As the film goes on, it made me think of, because every now and then you have a film that starts off as a comedy but then sort of morphs into sort of like an action buddy comedy. And it made me think a little bit of Pineapple Express, because Pineapple Express does a similar thing where it starts off as this sort of stoner comedy where these people have no direction in life, and the final reel of it looks like an action movie. and this does something very similar where it starts off as this meta commentary on Nicolas Cage, on fame, on Hollywood, on whether people are movie stars or whether they're actors, and it goes all this of the, but then as you go along, I feel like it's almost like the guy who was writing it, like Tom Gormican, who directed it. It's almost as if he was writing and he was going, oh, great ideas. I'm coming up with all these scenarios that Nicolas Cage can be in. Nicolas Cage talking to his younger self. Nicolas Cage watching Paddington 2. Nicolas Cage chatting with Pedro Pascal. And then it's almost as if he went, we need to finish this thing somehow. And I couldn't figure out how to finish it. And there's bits in the film where they're talking about how you finish the film. So it becomes, and around about that point, around about the bit where the film starts becoming self-referential, that's where I feel like it starts to lose its magic a bit. It starts to lose its magic a bit. So in the end, it is still funny, but it is generic funny as opposed to weird, what the heck am I going on, self-referential funny. So I've been going back and forth on how many stars to give this thing. I've been going back and forth between 3 and 4. I think all day, because I think the first part of the film, let's say probably the first half of the film, I would give that a 4. But the way it gets really generic, and towards the end, it's just stuff I've seen other films do before. Even the final bit, there's a final bit that goes meta, film within a film within a film within a film kind of thing. Yeah. And I've seen that done in, there's a film called Have Plenty that I've seen that done in. And it's, so I think I'm going to have to give it a 3, but which is a shame because I think the first half of the film is excellent.
Yeah, I concur totally with that. I'm in an absolute total agreement with that. That it's just like so it's like, the first film, 4 stars definitely, really enjoyable, and then it sort of starts to get a little bit, that's the word, generic, a little bit generic. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to give it a 3 as well. It's going to have to be a 3-star. Shame, really, because it started off terrific. It's
a shame, but I would recommend it. And I think that there's one particular scene, like it's Nicolas Cage taking the absolute piss out of himself, because there's one particular scene where it's kind of like he's pretty much about to slip into a coma, and what they say to him to snap him out of the coma is just kind of so oh no, I'll say go watch it, there's a lot of stuff in there. All right, so it's
worth a watch, isn't it? It's a good 3 stars.